Hey everybody, I am just jumping onto YouTube today because I thought it would be fun. And it's a Saturday, it's an absolutely gorgeous day out. I'm in my backyard. And This is totally impromptu. I did not plan to do this. I just haven't come on YouTube recently and, done any kind of quick AMAs, so an Ask Me Anything. So essentially this is an Ask Me Anything. And if you want to ask me questions about branding or design or freelancing or digital entrepreneurship or running a freelance business, you can do that. And so one of the things that I was thinking about and I tweeted about yesterday was that I was doing a podcast interview with a great woman named Christine Mao, who is Senior Director of Strategy, VP of Strategy of a company called Medline. A healthcare company, and we were talking about how when you are coming up in your career, it's very easy to stay silent and to not put yourself out there. And another thing we were talking about was how if you want to get promoted, she had come up in her career through Kimberly-Clark, a large CPG company. And she was talking about how she was given challenges and kind of did the job that she wanted before she got it. And so that's something I just wanted to talk about really quickly, was that if you are working in-house in a corporation, or if you're working in an agency and you want to get promoted, say you're a junior designer, you want to get promoted to designer, or a designer and you want to get promoted to senior designer, or senior designer, you want to be an art director or a creative director. One of the things that you have to do is you have to have a mindset of doing the job that you want before you actually get the title or before you actually get the compensation. And that is a sticking point and a problem for a lot of people, because some creative people, designers, when they're working in-house, they're like, they're asking me to manage these freelancers, or they're, asking me to do this special project and that's not in my job description, or they're asking me to learn this new program, or, design websites or do social media campaigns, and it's not what I signed up for, or it's not in the graphic designer job description, and you may be kind of bristling at that added responsibility. And thanks, Johnny, for the question. I will get to questions. If you have a question, please type question in all caps before your question, because I'm just going to be rapping here, and if I see the word question come up, I will I will answer that question. So when you're coming up and you get these added responsibilities that you didn't ask for, a lot of people say, it's not my job, just responsibility, that's such a pain, I really don't want to do that. The thing that you have to keep in mind is that every single challenge or opportunity that you get given in your career, whether you're in an agency or in-house in a design department in a corporation, is that you have to say yes. And you have to really perform at and do the job that you want. So if you are looking to get promoted, you have to start doing the job of a senior designer, doing the job of a creative director, taking on those responsibilities long before you actually get the title or you get the salary for it. And the reason that is because you have to demonstrate to your manager or the higher ups that you are, number one, ambitious, number two, you're thinking about your future and you want to move up in the company. Number three, that you're willing to take on additional responsibilities beyond your job description. But more importantly, number four is that you are going to display your capabilities to do the things that you'll be asked to do in that next job title, in that next salary category. And so if you do that, over time, you will be recognized and you will eventually get promoted to that job. But instead of bristling at it or pushing back or thinking, I don't really want to do that thing because it's not within my salary band, then you are going to be held back. So in talking to Christine Mao, who had previously been at Kimberly-Clark for 15 years and moved all the way up to a global strategy role, that's one of the topics that we had. So if you haven't, here, let me put this up here. Let me put up my Um, do I have it? I don't think I have it. I was going to put up a graphic that I cannot find right now. Give me just a second. Nope, that's not it. All right, I can't find it. It's my podcast promotion. URL. Yeah, there it is. So if you haven't been listening to my podcast, or if you haven't subscribed to it, do a search for Brand Design Masters Podcast. It'll pop right up on Spotify or on iTunes or anything, and subscribe to it. I've interviewed a ton of really great people: Chris Doe, Chris Ducker, Marty Newmeyer. I just interviewed Jesse Showalter. His show isn't up yet. Christine Mao, I just interviewed yesterday. Some really, really great guests. And so I encourage you, if you like my YouTube channel and you like the content that I do here on YouTube, check out the podcast because we talk about the same topics, but I bring in a lot of really, really talented people in the industry that you can learn additional stuff from. And so what I was just talking about kind of came from a discussion I was having with Christine Mao, previously of Kimberly-Clark, now of Medline, VP of Strategy for Medline, one of the largest developers of healthcare products, and they're in over 20 countries and around the world. You probably never heard of them because they're a private company, but super, super talented woman. I met Christine Mao at a program I did at the AIGA. The AIGA puts on a program. It's now at Yale University, but it used to be at Harvard, and it was called Business Perspectives for Creative Leaders. And essentially, they run you through the Harvard Business School program over a 10-day period, and you do a bunch of case studies and design. And it's really an amazing thing. And I met her about 15 years ago when I did that program, and we've stayed in touch ever since. And so I just brought her on the podcast to talk to me, and it was a really, really great conversation. I can't wait till it goes live. So Samantha, thank you for your question. It's starting to get really bright out here. So my screen, it's harder to see my screen than it was when I started. Let me know if you can hear me all right. I'm using a totally cheap-ass USB microphone. I have never really gone live from my laptop outside before, so that is a new one. And let me take that off. So, question. Okay, now I'm going to scroll back, answer some of these questions. How to practice design quantity or quality? Make stuff every day or take a long time and make a masterpiece? Johnny, great question. When you are developing your portfolio, you really want to do both, essentially. You want to crank out as much work as you possibly can because volume will increase your skill set. The more work you do, the more you practice your craft, the more challenges you give yourself, the more different sort of categories you do design work in. Volume will equal improving your skill set quicker. Now, that being said, you don't want to just post a bunch of one-day projects on your portfolio and Behance. You do want to put up the best work that you possibly can. So at the same time, you want to take some time and work on pieces that you really craft, that you really make sure are some of your best work. So essentially the answer to your question is you got to do both. Okay, question. Lucky says, here I can do this actually. I can add it to the broadcast. Check that out. Lucky said, what are the biggest hindrances for a design startup, especially if it's an introvert and sets out as CEO, and how can it be overcome? The biggest hindrances for a design startup. Well, if you are the leader of the startup and you are the CEO and you are an introvert, you are definitely going to have some challenges. Now, that being said, I'm an introvert. I really am much more comfortable talking to a laptop than I am to people in a room. Even though I've done it my whole career, I've spoken in front of audiences, I've led large teams and large agencies and corporations, I'm still very much of an introvert. But so in order to, you have to practice. You have to start. You have to put yourself out there. You will never be ready. You will never be ready for the role that you're putting yourself into. And every time that you think you've gotten up to the level that is proficient, or you will feel like you need to grow some more. You'll have another challenge. Something else will be thrown your way. When it comes right down to it, you just have to get out there and do it. It's going to be uncomfortable. One of the things about growth, about learning, is that growth is pain. When you are in pain or when you are uncomfortable, you can be sure that you are growing. You have to put yourself outside of your comfort zone. All great growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So if you've put yourself into a situation of starting up a design agency and you were the leader of that agency, you are going to have to put yourself out there and become verbal and become a great communicator and really push your envelope. That's the only way you're going to do it, and congratulations on your own design startup. That's fantastic, and I'm proud of you, and I know that you can do it. I know tons and tons of introverts who own agencies. The other thing to do is find someone as a partner, as a managing director, as a head of sales, or someone that you can partner with closely as a senior member of your team who is more of an extrovert, who is more of a communicator. And because a lot of times finding the perfect Venn diagram of the introvert creative and the salesperson, verbal strategist is sometimes a great combination. It could be a great designer and a great copywriter. So look for people who are a complement to your skill set. That's part of my advice. Okay, I'm going to close that out. Great question. Hey Natalie, good to see you. I hear those cicadas. I know. It's cicada land. And so this mic, even though I put a wind filter on it, like I said, it's a totally cheap USB mic. It's picking up everything. And so you can hear the cicadas. When the breeze comes, you may be hearing my wind chimes in the background, but I don't usually broadcast from outside. So I just thought it was such a gorgeous day, and I thought, I haven't done an AMA in so long. I should just get out there and do it, and I think it'd be fun. I'm having some iced coffee, just came back from the park with my dogs. And it's always interesting to see kind of how many people are watching their alerts for YouTube or have signed up for alerts for my channel. And it is good to see you, Peter. Quarkworks is in the house. Great to see you, Peter. All right, Chocolatier asks a question. All right, when you are joining a new company, what would you recommend to do to make a good first impression? Great question. And that's the fact that you are even thinking about that when you're starting a new company is very smart. You want to make sure that you are going through the hallways smiling, that you don't look too serious, that you look approachable. You want to also put your hand out and meet as many people as you can, not only in the design area or whatever area it is that you're working in. You want to meet people who are in merchandising or strategy or finance or sales or account management. Push yourself outside of the department where you are. Make as many connections as you can, personal connections. Let people get to know you. Make friends. Because people like to work with people that they like. And so you want to do great work? Yes. You want to show up on time? Yes. Especially as a creative. There's a lot of creative people who cannot show up and work on time. And I hate to say it, but it really means something, especially when you want to move up in the organization. Showing up on time and putting in the hours is one of the things that's really critical. The other thing is building relationships, getting people on your side, working to make sure you do your best work, but you're also helping other people's jobs easier. Because when it comes down to it, if you can make other people's jobs easier, they will like you, they will know you, they will trust you, and they will advocate for you behind the scenes in situations and conversations that you're not privy to or that you're not hearing. That's one of the things you can do. I'm going to throw out one other little thing that I wish I knew coming up, which is that HR, Human Resources Department, who hired you, and you probably had some interaction with them, they work for the company. They are really great at making you think that they have your best interest at heart, and in many cases they do. They're there to help you navigate healthcare and benefits and salary and working with your managers and other people. But make no mistake, HR works for the company and their interest is in the company, not particularly in you. So be a little careful about how much you share with the HR department, especially in terms of belly aching or complaining. Because whenever you do complaining to HR, it will get back to your manager. It will get back to every single person that you were talking about or that you had a problem with. So be a little guarded and a little careful about that. That was completely outside of the realm of what you were asking about, but it's one of those things that just kind of popped up in my head. Oh, and the other thing, I know you're talking about first impressions, but this is a larger topic that I talk about a lot, which is another thing that I didn't really know until much too late in my career, was that everybody that you work with, everyone you make a connection with at the company that you're at, in a couple years, those people will start leaving that company. They'll get a better offer, they'll get a better salary somewhere else, they'll move to another company, or they'll move to another agency. And over time, your network, if you make connections with those people, connect with them on LinkedIn, your network will expand. Suddenly you'll know someone at a competitor, you'll know someone at, what could be in the future a client for you. They'll move to a different company. So keep in touch with people after they leave the company, because that's where your network starts to get really, really broad. So make those connections with people in your department, outside of your department, and stay in touch with them, because over time, those people will move to other companies. And then people at X agency. And I'll give you an example. I worked for Old Navy as a VP of design for 11 years. And within that period of time, within 5 or 6 years of my being at Old Navy, a lot of people started to go to other companies. They would get promoted and they'd get a better job or better title, better salary. They would go work for Ralph Lauren or Walmart or Abercrombie and Fitch, or they'd, go to, Hollister or any of the other apparel companies. And suddenly I knew people at Ralph Lauren. I knew people at Prada. I knew people at, one went to Tiffany's, so even outside of the apparel industry. And then suddenly I had a huge network of people that I kept in touch with, but they became my clients when I moved to the agency side. I suddenly had connections in tons of other companies, Levi Strauss. And when I worked for an agency, then I could call up my friends at Levi's and say, hey, you got anything going on that my agency could help you with? And boom, you're bringing in a client for your agency from Levi Strauss. So stay in touch with people as you're working up through your career. All right. Samantha. Samantha, is that a second question? I'm not sure what you're asking when you say, do you think the same is true? Can you expand on that question? If you think the same is true for if you start your own business, what's your mindset on that? Be a little clearer about what your question is, or ask the question not referring to someone else's question, because then I can be really clear about what it is that you're asking. Peter Lewis asked for a hand update. Yeah, so some of you guys may know, and it happened literally about 15 feet from where I am. I had a very freak power washer accident. You guys may not know how powerful power washers are, but I accidentally cut my left hand pretty severely, cut the artery, cut a major nerve in the index finger of my left hand, and I was in a cast for about a month. I actually did a video about it because I did some videos where I was, using my hands like I do, and I had this huge cast on my hand, and people are like, "What happened to your hand?" So anyway, cast is off. The feeling is starting to come back. It takes 3 or 4 months, they say. I'm in PT 3 times a week. I'm doing a lot of stretching exercises, but I think I'm going to be okay. The tendon was not affected, so I have all the motor skills I need. It's just range of motion and sensation at this point. So thank you very much, Peter, for asking. I really appreciate that. Adrian asks how old I am. And I know I'm outside, so you can probably see all my wrinkles, my gray hair, all that sort of stuff. Adrian, I am older than 50. I'll put it that way. All right. And, you can go on my LinkedIn profile and do the math if you want, but I'm getting to the age where you don't talk about age anymore. I'll put it that way. I am younger than my years. How about that? Muhammad asks, where am I from? And I'll put that up there. I am in, right now, New Jersey, outside of New York City. I used to live in Brooklyn, in Park Slope in New York for 15 years. And when I was with Old Navy, they moved their apparel development divisions to San Francisco, so I was relocated to San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco for 7 years, which was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Made a skip back through the Midwest to Cincinnati for a little over a year to work with an agency, and then came back to the East Coast to work as the VP of Global Design for PepsiCo. And I was with PepsiCo for a while until I kind of burned out, and I've told that story before. And then I went out on my own. And I had moved back to Park Slope, Brooklyn. And then when I went out on my own, I was just like, you know what? I've done the New York thing. I've done the Brooklyn thing. I need sidewalks and trees and a backyard for my dogs and sidewalks and a great park, 2,000-acre park nearby. I need quality of life. So I moved across the Hudson over to New Jersey. And it's a very, very old suburb in New Jersey, lots of huge old growth trees. And so that's where I live, just outside of New York. I can walk to a Midtown direct train from where I am, which is really convenient. So I can hop on a train and be in New York City and in Penn Station in 45 minutes, which is freaking awesome. So I can be in the city, experience New York when I want to. And then when I don't want to, I got my beautiful house in New Jersey. So done the New York thing, done the San Francisco thing, and now I am digging the old growth suburbs. All right. Okay. I'm not really sure. Gotham Bai said why India is the best marketplace. And I don't know if that's a question. So if you have a question, type question in all caps before your question and put it in the chat. And then I will ask that question. So you're making an assumption that India is the best marketplace, and I'm not sure that that's necessarily the case. The best marketplace for what? As a creative to be in, to work in, for clients, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. So if you have a question, ask it as a question, Gautam, and I'd be happy to answer it. All right, so as you guys are thinking about what you might want to ask me, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay on, because like I said, this was completely last minute thought, and I just thought I'm just going to come out and see who's online, see who's paying attention to their alerts from YouTube. And because I haven't done an AMA and Ask Me Anything in a long time, and I just thought that I would pop up and do that. It's getting really hot out. I'm in the sun, and it's beating down on my back. Okay. Peter asked about the guild. I am going to put something up on the screen right now, and as you guys know, I run a mastermind. And the Brand Design Masters Guild is a 12-week program where I lead 9 people through a very intimate mastermind process. And it's a 12-week program where you do 12 one-hour Zooms. You also have 12 one-on-ones with other members of the guild. If you are interested in joining the Brand Design Masters Guild number 5, please go to philipvandusen.com/mastermind. And there's a short information gathering form there where you tell me a little bit about your business and what you're looking for, and what you want to achieve, what you're great at, what you're not so great at. And then if you're open to making the financial commitment to be part of the guild, at the end of that form, you'll be given the opportunity to set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting with me to discuss your participation in the guild. So thank you, Peter, for asking that question and giving me an alert to share with everybody. If you are interested in becoming part of the Brand Design Masters Guild, Peter Lewis, who asked that question, was part of Guild number 1, actually. And it's a really, really incredible experience. I can't tell you how transformative being part of the Guild is and what it does for people's business. I've done 4 of them so far. I'm working on filling number 5. So this is a completely proven process. And there's 36 alumni of the Guild who've been through it, who rave about it. And if you're curious about joining a really powerful mastermind group, go to philipvandusen.com/mastermind, fill out that information form, and if you are open to making the investment for the guild, the next guild is going to start at the beginning of September, and it runs for 12 weeks. It's a 10-person group. I'm one of the people, so it's 9 people and me. You're going to get a lot of direct Philip FaceTime and input into your business, and I guide this mastermind group, a group of peers who are setting goals. They are holding each other accountable to those goals. They're sharing information and resources and expertise to help everybody in the group move farther, faster. It's a transformative experience. I've been in masterminds and am currently in a peer mastermind, and I know how powerful masterminds are, and it is far worth more than the investment. In fact, many people who have done the guild have made back the investment in the guild in new business or new clients within weeks, days of starting. It's really, really amazing. So thanks, Peter, for asking that question. Okay, I got to scroll back a little bit. Okay, I got to take this off. Got to take the guild promo thing off. So I'm not sure how to pronounce your first names. Athelhang. What do I think about the South African marketplace? To be honest with you, I really don't know that much about the South African marketplace in particular. And when you're saying the marketplace, do you mean the market to be a graphic designer there? So how easy or how lucrative can it be to be in the South African marketplace? The South African marketplace for clients, for getting work? I'm not really sure what your question is, but to tell you the truth, I'm not that familiar with the South African marketplace in particular, so I can't really offer really great advice on that. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. This is a good question. Philip, this is from Nilufarkon. Nilufarkon? Boy, hard name. I'm trying my best. I'm sorry if I butchered it. I recently started my graphic design career learning social media marketing design. What do you suggest? I do not know how to choose field. For example, logo design, UX, UI. The one thing I would say is if you learn social media marketing design or social media marketing, the process of setting up a marketing plan and implementing social media marketing plans, that knowledge and skill set is very, very, has a great future, has a great present, and has a super future, because so many companies, small, medium, even large, but chances are you're probably focused on the former, there's so much opportunity to develop social media marketing and social media marketing plans for companies. And if you know that sort of design, and better yet, know how to design social media marketing plans and implement them, also track the metrics or the analytics around the results of your plans, and learn how to report that back to your clients, you can really make a killing, because there's a lot of companies that don't know how to do it and are desperate to have someone who can really guide them through that soup to nuts. So that's great that you're learning that. What do I suggest? You don't know how to choose a field, for example. So if you are, niching down, brand identity design, logo design, UI, UX, those are kind of broad catch-alls. So if I would, at the beginning of your career, you don't really want to niche down. You want to take as much different sort of work as you can, because one of the advantages of doing that is you're going to learn what kind of work it is that you like to do. And if you niche down too soon and just go into brand identity design, then you may pass up opportunities of doing other sorts of work that you might have found that you really liked. There are people who go into identity design and suddenly, they realize that they would really have loved to do website design, or they really love to do, consumer packaged goods and packaging design, or retail design, or environmental design. So don't limit yourself too soon at the beginning, but in terms of learning graphic design as it applies to social media marketing, great plan. And then as you expand, take what you can get and pay close attention to what it is that you're really enjoying doing. Hope that helps. Getting a little dry. Give me a second, you guys. Okay. This is a really good question. Lucky asks, do you suggest every designer have a personal brand aside from the company or business that you work in, I guess, like going into writing, speaking, podcasting? If yes, what are the hurdles? Great question, Lucky, and I could have done this entire live on that particular subject. Yes, I definitely believe that every designer who has a day job in an agency, in-house in a company, or if you're a freelancer or work in a small freelance group, I highly suggest having a personal brand. What does that mean, having a personal brand? What that means is you do not want to completely create your sense of identity around your business card, around the title and the company that you work for. You want to start to develop some sort of presence that you own that is not related to your job. Because people get laid off, agencies get acquired, economic downturns happen. By no fault of your own, you may find yourself out of work for one reason or another. And when that happens, if you have completely built your sense of self-identity around your business card and your title at that company, when that goes away, all you have is your LinkedIn profile and a little heading of saying where you worked and when the end date was. The more you develop some sort of presence outside a website, a portfolio, some sort of content, a podcast, a YouTube channel, you've spoken at high schools or universities, or you've done blog posting or guest posting, you developed some sort of written content on Medium or on LinkedIn, or you've been really good at posting even curated content on LinkedIn, content that's not even yours, content that you are promoting for other people. Developing a presence outside of your business card and your title at the company or agency that you work for, that's all you're going to have. Your personal brand ecosystem in real estate is what you're going to be left with when that agency gets acquired, or when that client goes away and you get laid off, or when that economic downturn happens and you get laid off, or when the company that you work for decides to get rid of their marketing department. Building a personal brand outside of your job is highly recommended, because that is all you have that is truly yours. And I would recommend starting with one thing. Go deep on one thing, whether that's speaking or podcasting or a YouTube channel or a blog or a particular social channel like Twitter or Instagram. Go deep and serious on one platform. Don't try to be everywhere at the beginning, because what happens is you dip into places and it looks, you have a broad range of places you are, but you look lame on kind of all of them, right? Look really amazing on one. And when you get that one down and you're comfortable with that one and you've made an impact on that and built a little bit of an audience, then move on. Okay, and then you say, the last question part of that is, if yes, what are the hurdles? Well, the hurdles are content production, and building your own personal brand is a lot of work. It can be a lot of work. And if you have a regular day job, that means you're going to be doing this building of your personal brand outside of your day job, on the weekends, at night, in the early morning, wherever that is. And so in doing that, you are buying employment insurance. You are buying career insurance when you build that sort of a brand ecosystem for yourself that is yours, that you own. And so I highly recommend it. what are the challenges? The challenges are in doing it, it's a lot of work. That's why I also recommend starting with just one channel and going deep on it, because then you can really focus, you can get good on that particular platform, and you can build it out. And you're not going to be bouncing around and confused about where to go or what to do or how to post, or engaging with different subscribers or followers on different platforms. You're going to be able to go deep and hard into one particular platform at the beginning. And here's the other hurdle, and then I'll go on to some more questions. The other major hurdle is becoming discouraged. I want to be really real about this. It takes a while to build up subscribership or followers or connections on social media through content marketing or through developing content, period. And that's where most people fall down. That's where most people quit. It takes sometimes years, sometimes multiple years, to get any kind of traction on social media. So you have to start. Number one, just start. Number two, don't stop. Dare to suck. Dare to get out there and be bad at the beginning, but keep doing it. Set yourself a schedule of posting. I'm going to post twice a week on this platform for a year. I'm going to post 3 times a week on this platform for a year. Or I'm going to post 1 video a week for 2 years. And set out a goal for yourself and do not deviate from it. Because at the beginning, you're talking to an empty room. You don't have any followers. You don't have any subscribers. No one knows who you are. No one is following you. And so you may be posting videos or podcasts and find out that no one is listening. This is good news, because then you are free to experiment, explore, and screw up and be bad at the beginning. And everyone is, including me. Go back, sort my videos by date on YouTube and look at some of my earlier videos, right? I got 25 years of experience, but when I got to YouTube, I was not great. And so the good news about having no audience at the beginning when you're building something is that you can learn and grow and improve without a whole ton of people looking at you. And then as you build and grow, you build that muscle, you build that idea muscle, the content muscle, and you get better at it, and you get more fluid at it. And then you'll start to gather people. Then you'll start to get your message out there, and your community will build. But as it's building, you now are a little more comfortable in your skin. You're a little more comfortable in that content marketing skin. So, Lucky, killer question. I know you sent me off on a tear, which because it's one of my favorite subjects, and is also one of the reasons why I do what I do here on YouTube and in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, which I'm also going to put something up on the screen. If you are not part of the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, I keep pointing the wrong way, head over to facebook.com/groups, Brand Design Masters. Join the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. I show up there a lot. There's about 3,000 people in there right now. It's only been going for about 6 months. Bunch of amazing creative professionals who are networking and sharing resources and ideas and giving each other feedback on their work. It's an awesome community. You have to fill out a few questions to get in, and you have to share your email address, which will put you on my email list, and you'll get my newsletter and some promotions from me. I don't spam heavily, all right? But that's the price of entry to get into the Brand Design Masters group. And so if you want to engage with me and an amazing community of creatives, head over there. It's a really, really cool place to be. I'm going to take that off the screen right now, but facebook.com/groups/Brand Design Masters. Okay? Still getting hot. I might actually have to move into the shade because it's getting cray hot here. All right. I got to scroll back. Love Life says, love you, Phil. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I want to put this on the screen. Peter Lewis said the Guild was the best career decision he'd ever made. Do it. So if you are interested in the Brand Design Masters Guild, I'm going to put that up there. Head over to philipvandusen.com/mastermind. Fill out a quick information form. If you're open to making the investment in the Guild, as Peter said, it is the best career decision he ever made. And there are 36 other alumni who pretty much say the same thing. So go over there and check that out. All right, so I'm going to take that off the screen right now. Peter's sharing some of his feedback. Peter's very seasoned, very smart guy. So whatever he's saying back to you, Lucky, is probably good advice. Yeah, I do. Andre, yes, I know that. Andre, yes, this is Che Guevara, I know, on my shirt. And I'm not promoting Che Guevara. I just think it's a cool image. And you're right. I mean, you should think about that, right? So I'm not going to wear like a Hitler t-shirt. Right? So I maybe should take that more into consideration. So I appreciate that feedback, Andre. And I can't take my t-shirt off right now, but I'm going to think more about that. Gautam, how to make the best design place in India freelance platform, the best freelance platform in India. If I'm understanding your question correctly, how to make the best design place in India a freelance platform. There are a lot of freelance platforms, and instead of making a freelance platform or designing a freelance platform that you run, what I would recommend is that you start an agency and you make it a partnership model where you're actually using freelancers and building teams to work projects that you have, rather than running a freelance platform. There's a lot of freelance platforms, and the problem with them is that the competition in them is based on pricing. And when you compete on price, it's a race to the bottom. And what happens is the people who are willing to do the work for the least amount of money get the work, and no one benefits from that. It degrades our profession. And in general, I do not really support freelance marketplaces. There are some. I've had a guild member who was on Upwork, and Upwork I'm sorry, someone's car alarm is going off. Was on Upwork and said that she's gotten some great work off Upwork and has connected with clients after working with them on Upwork, and they have stayed clients afterwards. So Upwork would be the one platform I would suggest. But if you're starting a platform from scratch, that's going to be a real uphill battle. I hate to dissuade you from that, but it's I would caution you against it, because there already are great, really strong, large platforms. But if you are looking to join a freelance platform, I would recommend Upwork over Fiverr. Upwork's got its problems too, but in all of the platforms I've heard about, that's the one platform that I've heard better things about. All right. Okay. I am well versed. So, I am well versed says, I've been searching for a graphic designer who specializes in brand identity and product mock-ups. Where should I start my search? I have a small business currently, so my budget is smaller. You could try Upwork, actually. That would be one place that you could do. The other thing that you do is, especially if you have a small budget, is if you have a design school that teaches graphic design or a university that teaches graphic design, you can go to that university and tell them, get someone in the design office and say, hey, I'm looking for a graphic designer who does these sorts of things. And they might be able to hook you up with a student, current student, or a recent graduate who's willing to do work for you inexpensively, but who's going to be really talented and lead you in the right direction and give you great advice. So if you are an entrepreneur or small business owner and you're looking to develop some branding on a lower budget, you can either work through a freelance platform, or I would say if you want to work in person or develop a relationship with someone locally, go to a university, community college, or better yet, a professional design school, and give them a call, and they will hook you up with some people. So that's my recommendation there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put this up here. I actually have to put both these up there because it's kind of a two-part question. Oh, I can't put both of them up there. All right, so I'm going to do it this way. Philip, hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thank you. A little hot, gorgeous day, but it's getting hot. Love your work. 20-year-old, second year in my graphic design program. I'd like to become a creative sort of. What? And then I'm going to put this one up. What steps should I take from now until the next 5 to 10 years? Great question. I'm going to put your first one up because that will, anyone who pops on and sees the question will understand it better from this one. Okay, if you want to be a creative director, people, I've done a video on this, number one. So if you, on YouTube, search, what does a creative director actually do? And I have a YouTube video on that where I talk about what a creative director actually does and the skill set that a creative director has to have. One of the things that people don't realize is creative directors do a whole lot more than just tell designers aesthetically what they should do. They have to have a much deeper and broader skill set that is not based in creative. And that's one of the misconceptions people have about being a creative director. But get out of school. Become a junior designer, work your way up to designer, senior designer, and in that process, do the best design work that you can. No creative director comes into the creative director role unless they have worked their way up through the ranks of design. It just doesn't happen. You don't get hired as a creative director unless you've been a senior designer, associate director, all that sort of stuff first. So work your way up through the design ladder. When you're in the process of doing that, try to learn as much as you can about business, about communication, about writing, about email. Take some brand strategy courses. Learn how to use an Excel spreadsheet. Learn the finance of how agencies or design works in the marketplace. Build your skill set outside of design. Learn that vocabulary because that's what you're going to be using for the most part when you are a creative director. And as I said at the very beginning of this live, go back to listen to the beginning of this live, is that as you're working your way up, whenever you are given a challenge, whenever you're given the opportunity to do something that's outside of your pay grade, manage a freelancer, manage a project, learn some new program, and you're saying, they're not paying me for that, that's BS. Say yes and do it. Because you got to work outside and above your job description in order to get promoted to the next job. So be always open and always asking, what can I do more? What can I do beyond? What challenge can you give me? And tell your manager that. Be very clear with your manager that you want to advance. So that's my feedback there. Okay. I'm well versed that I forgot to mention that I have a health and wellness brand. And you asked the question about how do you get a logo or lower price design and that you're a startup. That's cool. I'm glad to have a health and wellness brand. And to tell you the truth, it doesn't matter what kind of brand you have. My advice to you in terms of finding a designer would still be the same. Great designers and great branding people, it doesn't matter what industry we're working for. You know, when I was in the agency world, I would be working on a private label food brand for a major grocer one day, and the next day I'd be working on a brand identity for a jet airline company, or I'd be working on a private label pet food brand, or I'd be working on something for National Geographic for animal welfare. Or I'd work on, with Johnson & Johnson for something for people with asthma. When you're in branding and when you're in design, it doesn't really matter what category that you're working for. We go in, we learn that category deeply, and we deliver the best work knowing the marketplace, the competition, what it is that you're doing, your competitive, your customer, your avatar, all that sort of stuff. That's the beauty and fun for me anyway of working in the branding and design industry, is that I get to learn about all these different really disparate types of businesses. That's what's really fun about it, particularly on the agency side. And so congratulations on starting your health and wellness brand. And if you find a really good graphic designer, they will be able to address your needs. Okay? Yeah, you're welcome. And graphic designers work with all sorts of industries, and especially ones who are more seasoned and have experience across a number of different, what we call categories or categories of business. I could be working with a trucking company one day and working with, a professional coach the next day, or a cosmetics company the next day. I mean, those are a few of the clients that I have currently right now, a travel industry client. I become, over time, an expert in those things working with those clients, and I deliver them something that's going to move their business forward. It doesn't matter that I'm, a specialist in one thing. And particularly because you have a lower budget, you're going to have to work with someone who's just starting off, and you're not going to find someone who's like completely niche, excellent in health and wellness brands for a lower budget. When you have a larger budget, you'll be able to find a design agency that specializes in health and wellness. All right. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate that. Hey, you guys. So I have been on for like almost 50 minutes. I'm getting really hot. I was not expecting to come on. And it's been really, really great hanging out with you guys. I should do this more, right? So what do you think? Should I do this more? Should I do more of these AMAs like totally last minute and just throw it up there and come in from my backyard or wherever I happen to be? Just before I go, I want to share a couple things with you. Thumbs up, appreciate that. If anyone has a last minute question they want to ask, I could stay on a couple more minutes, but then I'm going to have to go. Make sure to type question in all caps before your question. I forgot to keep that up there. Sorry about that. That helps. And then if you guys are looking to learn more of your favorite Adobe programs, so if you're looking to learn more about Adobe Illustrator or learn to work Photoshop better or edit video on Premiere Pro, Daniel Scott is a certified Adobe trainer, and he has an online video-based training website called Bring Your Own Laptop, hence the URL BYOL. Daniel Scott is one of the best Adobe trainers in the business. He's got an amazing channel here on YouTube. He's a close friend. He's been on my podcast if you want to hear him talking. He's a super fun, talented teacher. If you go to byol.me/Philip, that's an affiliate link. You don't pay any more, but it's a subscription-based website for Adobe training. It's really inexpensive. It's like $12 or $15 a month. I mean, it's insane, and you get access to his entire catalog of training videos. It is so cost-effective, I cannot tell you. And he's a really, really fun and talented teacher. So if you're want to learn more about Illustrator or Photoshop or Premiere or any of the Adobe applications, go to byol.me/Philip and sign up for Bring Your Own Laptops training courses. You will be so glad that you did. And if you're a beginner, he has the most beginner level training courses. If you are super advanced, he has like some of the most advanced training courses out there. He covers the entire gamut. So go check out BYOL if you haven't. And if you would, use my affiliate link. It's just a way to support my work here on YouTube just a little bit. And I'd really, really appreciate it if you did that. So I'm going to take that off. And that is it. Oh, wait, hold it. Oh boy, I didn't scroll forward. I had this not scrolling. So, Peter says I should just live stream my life. Yeah, well, you know, Joselle, my marketing assistant, she's always telling me that. She's always saying, you should go live more. You should go live from your car. You should go live walking to your office. And you're probably right. So I'm trying to do that. Thank you, Peter. I should live stream more of my life. But it's about you guys. It's about you. I want to help you. I want to help you with your problems, your challenges in your creative careers, in your agencies, in your lives, with your motivation. That's one of the things that I'm actually spending a lot more time doing and thinking about now is mindset and motivation. I got a super chat. Peter, you're the man. If you are interested in, supporting my work here on YouTube and want to drop, $5, $10 in the tip jar for me, there's a little icon at the bottom of the chat window for super chat. And it's a way that you can just donate a little bit of funds to me, which would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you very, very much, Peter, for doing that. You are a prince. And if you if you do a super chat, then your question gets answered like toot sweet above everybody else's. Okay. What? XD. Yeah, XD. Yes, he does. Daniel Scott does XD too. He trains in XD. All right. So one more quick question. What are the most desired traits that design agencies or employers look for? And I'm going to boil it down to one. And that is positivity. And I have managed designers for over, I'm going to say it, 30 years. I have run teams as small as 2 and as large as 65 people at major agencies and corporations. And I have interviewed more than 4,000 designers in my career. I have hired more than 400 full-time designers in my career, and that's not even counting freelancers. And so I've interviewed and managed and mentored and raised up a ton of designers. And I know what it takes to get promoted and what it takes to be recognized and what it takes to succeed in an agency or a corporate environment. And what that is positivity. Go-getter attitude, positive attitude, and not belly aching. When designers would come into my office and have a problem with something and describe the problem, and they're having a real problem with like some other person or some process or some client, a lot of the times that designer is a lot closer to the problem than I am. And so I would always encourage them to say, if you come to my office with a problem, come to my office with a problem and a proposed solution, because you are closer to it than I am. If you become known as a Debbie Downer, a negative Nelly, a person who is always bitching or always has a problem, that is going to hamper your growth and your progression through your career more than anything else. Positivity. So, AJ, coming in with a smile, a can-do attitude. I know it sounds so totally cheesy, but it works. And like I said, I've been a leader in a lot of big companies, and the people who are positive and help me get my job done and deal with my clients and deal with my superiors and business partners and are problem solvers that help me solve problems, those are the people that I want close to me. Those are the people that I promoted. Those are the people that I moved up to senior designer or moved up to art director or creative director. And so if you want to get there, that's the approach. Okay, AJ, I hope that helps. I hope that helps. All right, you guys, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me on a Saturday, a hot Saturday. AJ, awesome. I'm glad you liked the advice. I'm turning off my question thing now. And Gabriel, good to see you. The Ape Show, awesome to see you. Peter Lewis, Potato, I am well versed. And MD, Christian, One Life, Adrian, all you guys, Samantha, Chocolatier, thank you guys for joining me today. This was super, super fun. And I will do more of these. If you guys are into it, if you guys, let me know that just before I split. Mr. Moreau, hey, Rick Harold is here. Awesome. Rick Harold is one of my diehard subscribers on YouTube. It's really great to see you, man. Gabriel, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. It's great to see you guys. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday, or if you're in New Zealand and Australia, Sunday. And I hope to see you here live the next time. And with that, I will let you go. So take care, guys.